for governors and provincial governments in the country. We have met today, so yesterday and today, to discuss unified resolutions that governors have given to the government. Let me recap again. These 25 resolutions were the initiatives of the government. So governors, back in March this year, they felt necessary to bring to the attention of the government some of the major elements and problems that governors have faced in terms of delivering the services to our people back in the provinces. And of course, provinces are the area, the space in which 80% of our people exist. And it has been the case that lots of our provincial government has not really progressed. And they have genuine concerns and issues. And so in March this year, they have presented to the government 25 resolutions. And the second meeting was held in June last year in Port Moresby, in which the government, through the ministry, had taken up all the resolutions to be addressed. And this meeting, which is, of course, technically it's a second meeting, by combining the governors' initial meeting, it is the third meeting. This meeting is basically looking at the resolutions that we were given responsibilities on behalf of the governors to take it and address those respective resolutions. Addressing it means we took it to respective government departments and agencies which governors felt it's necessary that we have to bring to their attention so that they can also look at functional alignments in terms of functions they perform and functions that provincial governments perform. But having gone through that, the Governors' Conference established, apart from all the issues being raised and resolutions being passed, we found that there are basically two issues. One is the fact that they need funding, resources, funding to run respective governments. When you look at provinces are confronted with law and order, do they continue to rely on the national government to fund their activity, particularly provinces? That's a classic example. But there are also issues relating to health, issues relating to infrastructure, all the issues that they're confronted with. And so, the issue of funding is quite important. And of course, other resources. And second, related to funding resources, they need to have ability to access funds in order to strengthen their operations so they can deliver to most of our people. And so, the last 2 days conference basically look at what my ministry has done in terms of taking up the resources, resolutions, and having discussed with respective government entities and agencies, and we have report back the last 2 days what we have done. And today's meeting kind of concludes report back the second quarter of next year, the results, so that it's progressively addressed until we are satisfied that all the resolutions are addressed. The ultimate aim is that 80% of people gets the services we want. You know, we're talking about, we want to return back to the villages. Are we going to go back to the villages that we left behind now? For me, all of us, maybe 40 years, 50 years. We want to go back to good village life. We want to enable our people to access the services that they find in most people. So, hopefully this is a beginning of developing all those things by form, so that those of us who want to return back, we can return back to villages where all those things that we find in most people. So that's the ultimate aim of what we are doing. So with that, once again, thank you. I'll hand it over to my co-chair. Let me, on behalf of the governors, thank Honorable Walter Wenge for his leadership in these last days in the meeting with me, as not only as a host host government that has been hosting us, but also as chairman of bipartisan officially established, let me on behalf of government give that responsibility to Honorable Walter Wenge and his team. The nation requires, as you said, to deliver to our people the best solution for our country. We look forward to working closely with you. Hopefully, we'll give you all the support you need so that everything I've discussed comes back to what you'll be doing. Administratively, I'll be addressing those on my part. Legally, your team will come up with the best solution, and hopefully at the 50th anniversary, our government can present something new, a new provincial government system, or overhaul provincial government system, so that we can have a system that can live beyond our time. We're just organisms passing through. Systems must exist to service our people. So that's why it's very important that we have this very important issue addressed once and for all. So with that, thank you very much. I'll give it to Honorable Dr. Wenge.
Thank you, First Chair, Minister for Provincial Affairs, Honorable Soroi Marepo, EOE, for being appointed as the Minister for Provincial Affairs. And during the time that he has been a minister, on his has magnificently served that ministry with distinction, sitting with the governors who represent the people in the province and listening to all their problems and making sure that he becomes the best middleman between the governors and the cabinet and the government. He has been diligently and intelligently, constructively delivering what the resolution of the governors and taking them to the government, to NEC and to government caucus. He has returned to answer to the governors that all of those resolutions that we have passed have all been attended, and what we proposed, most of them have been executed by the government. And most of them, the government has made an undertaking that those resolutions will be attended. And he had made sure the Prime Minister, Honorable James Morobe, has attended all of the meetings, consecutive meetings of the governors. Last of all, the third one in Ley. And as you all witnessed, the Minister made sure the Prime Minister attended, and he responded to all the resolutions that we have made. And we thank the Minister that his contribution in presenting the petitions, resolutions to the Prime Minister, enable the government of Honourable James MOROBE to attend to those resolutions. And he had come to a Governors' Conference yesterday to tell the governors that majority of the resolutions have been attended. So, Minister, I thank him so very much. Governor for CDC, he's an intelligent governor, a hard-working governor. He's the governor of our nation's capital. He's sitting on the reign as a governor in the last 18 years. He's done well, and I thank him that he's contributed pretty well in the discussions in the Governors' Conference. He did it well. He guided so many resolutions that we have passed, amendments we have made to go into new resolution, and we have governors have resolved that those new resolutions will be attended. So I thank him. I thank him. For me, I thank the National Government for appointing me as the chairman of the Bipartisan Committee on Decentralization. I thank the government for recognizing my potential, intellectual capability, my experience as a lawyer and as a 3-time governor of the people of Morobe province, one of the biggest provinces in the country, difficult province in the country, and going through as a leader, experienced those difficulties and some of the achievements that I've achieved. With that background, I'm able to help the national government in leading the bipartisan committee that they've established. And I want to tell the minister and tell the nation that all the governors, provincial government are the creatures of organic law on provincial and local level government, which was passed in 1994 and come into operation in 1995. And by virtue of being creature of that law, we are required to implement that law. Whatever that is required of us, we must implement it. And since 1995 or 94, we have been implementing this law, and we have encountered so many problems in implementing the law, this particular law, organic law on provincial and local level government. We have encountered many difficulties. Our people live in the pockets of the mountains. They live side by side of the rivers, big rivers. They live in the areas the road has not reached them. They live there. They live along the coast. They love to live in the areas where the fathers and mothers in the time immemorials have lived. Country is a very difficult country, and we have to deliver services, and with the guidance and help of this particular law. And we have found many difficulties in terms of road infrastructure, in terms of seed infrastructure, in terms of medical services, in terms of education services, in terms of law and order being in order in the areas that we come from. Many of the infrastructure have been set up with the Australian government. They are falling apart. Lack of maintenance is taking place. The money we're supposed to be used to make sure those infrastructures are maintained and provide the social services that was needed is not sufficiently put in. Therefore now the government has appointed this bipartisan committee to review that law, that law stands to provide the intended, or that law has failed them. Therefore, the bipartisan committee under my leadership will see the implementation of that law, whether those laws have been implemented by its implementation and deliver services. If they have not, then the bipartisan will recommend changes. And as you heard, the governors who are in control of the provinces in implementing this law have set out many, many problems. Problems in law and order, problems in the roads, problems in wharves and jetties and all of those, problems in the medical service, problems in the health service, all of those things getting through. They have requested that sufficient funds provided from the national government direct to the provincial government to be utilized to satisfy the delivery of services. And secondly, to make sure that our country, doesn't matter what people eat, but they are economically prosperous. And to make sure that the people are self-reliant by the utility of the infrastructures that are likely to be provided. They are self-reliant. In this way, we can say the country is going towards actually becoming economically independent. And to this, I can state that far from it. We are far from it. So all of the recommendations that I put forward, the Bipartisan Committee will see, with the help of the Honourable Able Minister, we will be working together to make changes, propose changes to the laws. And Parliament is the only institution who will pass the laws. And hopefully they will pass good laws to make sure so that we will see changes in each of the provinces in this country. It will take a time, but best we begin now. Best we begin now. So we have begun. And I hope that my committee will do at its best so that most of the government's resolutions are implemented, and what the national governments require us to implement it, to make sure that we are, in terms of infrastructure and social services and economic development and whatever, we improve for the better.
Thank you. Thank you. I have Honorable Provost Paco beside me. Very smart, brilliant man as a person, and also very effective governor. And I'm honored to have him supporting Honorable Luther Wenge again, another very brilliant person in his own right. And Grand Chief said us as part of the bipartisan committee. So I'd like to give Honorable NCB Governor to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. If I could speak on behalf of all our governors, I would like to firstly congratulate and thank Minister Honorable Soroi Eoi, Minister for provincial and local level government, for his leadership and for his commitment to having this conference held today. Equally, I want to thank co-chair of the Governors Conference yesterday and today, Honorable Luther Wenge, Governor of MOROBE Province, and all the governors. I think on behalf of the governors, I can say that it's been a successful 2 days conference. To the extent that that we are the momentous and pivotal moments in terms of restructuring and reshaping the state in terms of national government and sub-national government going forward into the future. As you all have seen yesterday, the Prime Minister is very committed to the national and provincial government. The Minister and all the treasury is very clear. We are making sure that in the future, clear so that going down to district level are functioning well and providing services and all about. So it is, looking very positive, and I want to call on our people to support this process. The creation of the bipartisan committee too is supporting that trajectory. That is, everything is in alignment. As you all can see, the process is taking place in steps threefold. One, we governors, we are pushing that. Some of us governors have been here for a long time, including Governor, host governor, returning back fourth term. I've been here for 10. Governor Ipatas, maybe fifth or 5.5 term, maybe 6 term. Some governors are third term, and of course some are first term. But those of us who have been here for a while, we have seen all the problems in terms of the dynamics between national and sub-national government and provincial government. And we are committed to ensuring that we clear all this out so that going forward, all levels of government are functioning efficiently. They are, substantive government, they are reliable government, they are able to fulfill their role and responsibility so that our people are the beneficiaries. This is what we are doing now, this exercise is about. So our people should welcome this, positive collaboration. Everything is in alignment. From the Prime Minister to the NEC to the Minister, come down to the governors and all our provincial administrators and the departmental heads. We are in alignment, working together to achieve that outcome. The dynamics too, as you can see, the bipartisan committee is also part of the equation. Not the only equation, but part of the equation. And this, I want to point it out that it's a difference to the past. In 1994 and 1990, bipartisan committee led by then late Ben Maika, they dictate everything. It was only one body that came up with the recommendation and submitted to Parliament, and 28 years later, we are revisiting it. And as everybody can see, governors and I think national government, we have problems with the current system. There is a suggestion too that we go back to pre-95. But I think the way we are going now, with the leadership of the minister and all of us working together, bipartisan committee to coming in, it's a better approach because we are progressing in an incremental way, checking out what works, what doesn't work. We try this and try that instead of wholesale change like we did in 1995. So, as I said, the trajectory is looking good. We are, committed and want to progress fast, but we are also cautious too, so that we make sure that we don't make a mistake like in the past. So this is why I'm saying that we are at a momentous, pivotal moment in terms of restructuring the state. What we want as government is a viable government, a reliable government, a government that, is able to perform at the provincial level so that our people get what they said and they have a government that they can rely on. Of course, the national government will be there to support and oversight over the entire country. But at the province function. And this is what it's been about. It's not about us governors want to grab power. No, we want to share power. And I repeat what I said yesterday, that the countries that are successful in the world, economically, politically, culturally, you name it. They are countries that are progressing well and are successful because they share power. And the province or the state. And this is what we try to do now. And, you know, perhaps it's 28 years late, but we have the benefit of hindsight. And this is guiding all of us. We want to make sure that the governors of the future and the ministers of the future, the prime ministers of the future, they don't have the problems that we have now. We clear it out so that everything is smooth, clockwork, and we will realize together, all the governments working together, we will realize the potential of our country and, of course, the outcomes that everybody wants, now and the future generation. That's what I want to contribute to, and I thank the Minister again for his leadership. He's a minister, I can say, being potent parliamentarians and governors. We've had so many governors conferences before. Look at the something come up. We pass resolutions after resolution. We have very heated, debate at the governors conference. But this one, you can see, it's a working, collaborative, relationship. Minister is doing his part. We are doing our part. We are not just here talking and shouting at each other, but we are working because we are all in alignment. So I thank the Minister, I thank the Prime Minister for his commitment, and Governor Wenge for coming in to take the leadership of the bipartisan committee. I'm in that committee too, so we have, divided the task already. Those that we can deliver now, Minister will work on it with the Parliament, with the NSC, and will progress it. Those that need some fine-tuning or what the terminology that people use, tweaking or something. Governor and as the chairman of the bipartisan committee, we will all work on it together. So not one body, just a minister, just a bipartisan committee, just the governors deciding that. We are what our people should have confidence in that there is good working relations, collaboration, working together to solve whatever is impeding development and services.
Honorable Governor, very important contribution for both of you. Now we open this. Our daughters are whispering.
Well, this is obviously we are close sessions. I understand very for us our resolutions from the last conference. Can you just give us a picture of how were passed? I mean, moved as a motion from this conference, and how many will be like Governor Pablo said be taken to by the bipartisan committee to be, especially with the I understand most of those that will be before the bipartisan committee will be especially those doing legislation amendments. Can you just give us a picture of that? Thank you.
Hello. I'll just give outline, and then I can ask both governors to speak. Resolutions are about 20 of them, and divided between what has legal implications and what administratively easy to be done. So, administratively that can be easily advanced by my team through the government process. That is, we are talking to the agencies of government to ensure that they are complying or implementing those administrative transfer of powers and functions. Anything legal being given to bipartisan committee because it takes time to look at issues relating to law, amendments to law. All those will go before cabinet and goes to the floor of the parliament. So it's a lengthy process. So that's why we have time ourselves between now and 2025. So it's a long process. Because Honorable Powers was commenting, and thank you. Actually, he has taken the responsibility and he has articulated between administratively and legal.
We still have to count it out, but I can say that perhaps out of the 30, maybe one quarter of them or almost half might we can act on it now. The other half will migrate into the bipartisan committee and understand all the implications. So before we go for the amendment to the constitution or organic law, we have understood all the implications. So I think that's the way we can
passed and which resolutions were referred to the bipartisan committee to deal with. I can't remember all of them. And also the matters we have resolved to attend to them in a speedy way. But I can give you some example of some matters which we have agreed to deal with it in a speedy way. One is in relation to the treasurer. The governors raised the point that they're having difficulty with the treasurer of each province and treasurer of the district because they're appointed by the finance department and they're officers of the finance department. And their appointment and their control, disciplinary action if need be, is done by the finance department. And because that they're officers of the finance department, they act as they're not part of the officers of the provincial government, and they don't the instructions are directly issued by the governor or the administrator. So on that basis, we have now resolved that the treasurer should be appointed by the normal recruitment of the provincial government, and they become officers of the provincial government. So which the provincial minister will supervise them, direct them to do what they're supposed to do. In the event that they misbehave, disciplinary action will be taken by the administrator or provincial administrator. And then second, in relation to the appointment of the administrator presently, by consistent with the Personal Management Act, is actually they are the one who, personal manager wants to call for the applications, call for advertise the position, and the people who are interested, they apply, and they go through them, and then they recommend to the Provincial Executive Council names in order of their preference, and then Provincial Executive Council will then appoint in order of their preference and is sent to the NEC to make a decision. That is the current practice is under the existence of the present law. But now the governors have recommended that appointment of provincial administrators should be done by the Provincial Executive Council. Of course, as to their merit or qualification to getting appointed will be checked through by the personal management. That process will remain, but the eventual appointment of them as administrator to change the law so that the Provincial Executive Council will appoint. That's one matter. Another matter I can think of is the laws that we passed in the provincial government. The organic law, present organic law, goes to the Department of Provincial Affairs, and the minister is the one that checks that law and then decide whether the law can come into operation. And many times the law being passed by the provincial government collects dust with due respect, in the Department of Provincial Affairs, and we don't know the answers and the law passed but not implemented. Now we have agreed, we have resolved that all the law passed by the provincial government becomes law automatically within the jurisdiction of the each province. So that's what we passed, and that's what we recommended. And what was the other? We have approved that the should be change of law so that we can collect taxes we collect taxes in the provincial government, not like the present leader, a lot of taxes being collected by virtue of the goods and services, and they remit to us 3%. But they've come up with a formula, and not really 3%, but less than 3% comes to us. So now we recommended that we pass laws so that we collect tax, right? So that we don't have to get the national government to continue to give us the money, but whatever tax we can collect can be used to provide services to the people of the provinces. So that's one of those matters that we resolve. And of course, that we also resolve that the national government give us grant to all of the departments in the provinces, police department, CIS department, court department, and all the other departments, health department. They give us money, budget in the national government budget, give us a direct funding to the province so that we can work with their department here. The money is here. We can work with their department here, representative of their department here, to use the money for the purpose they want to spend on, rather than they have to wait for the money coming from Commerce. So that's what we resolve. The others we resolve, but I'm unable to tell you now. But when the resolutions get printed, you can in the future have access.
Sir, thank you. Just a second question. We also are not privy to those measures, but I understand a handful of state agencies made presentations yesterday that the Prime Minister gave assurance in terms of helping get most of your resolutions through. What is the picture now like in terms of the national functions or agencies working with the bipartisan committee and especially the governors in the provinces to realize your dreams?
Thank you. Before I answer what you asked, let me also mention that if we have to get further information about the question you asked in terms of how many resolutions are to be immediately implemented and how many are to be check my officers, Mr. Aguigo, Mr. Thomas, Mr. Walrus, and of course Secretary. They give you, because they are recording all these things, so they can give you precise information. Now, what was the question you asked? Was it that related to? You have the mic. Use the mic.
I understand a handful of state or national agencies gave presentations yesterday, especially in terms of improving the relationship with the provincial governments. Our Prime Minister has given assurance. What is the picture like now going forward in terms of working with some of the national agencies or functions?
I really see no problem because what's happening out there is what's happening in the provinces. So that's what Prime Minister is talking about, functional realignment. So we have national health function, police, provinces have that as well. So what we are now suggesting is to ensure that provincial capacity is improved and strengthened. So look at what government has raised: health, education, policing. Because example is that provincial governments have problem, so their effectiveness is not there. So what provinces are asking is that has been suggested, so they can look at it and then allocate to those. So they can use that money to strengthen the activities of provincial law and order. So that's basically what it is. So it aligns to function. So they need this help to function properly. Thank you.
Go
Any
ahead.
last
Two questions.
last two questions?
We will close.
Go to this young lady here.
Thank you. For our projects in our districts are facing economic shortage in medicines. Either they have already run out of medicines or they are on the last batches. So have we also discussed that during the session here?
I'll say a few words and I'll give it to Governor. This is both governors. Yeah, basically the issues that we are addressing then is related to what we're talking about. Currently, the National Procurement Board, Medical Procurement Board, deals with all the medical requirements for the country, and then they're expected to offload the medical stores in the provinces. But sometimes these are not happening, and therefore the problem that encountered by a provincial or district clinics or hospitals. So this is a big area of concern. So it's not directly discussed by us, but I think it's a direction that we are moving. So in an event that there is a medical problem in provincial, MOROBE provincial government, so this block funds that we are talking about, the discretion of the governor and his PEC, then direct that money to buying the medicine, so they don't have to wait for national government to respond. So this is also addressing the issues of emergency and shortfalls in the provincial government system, so they can perform the task which is required of them as well as required of national government. So that's exactly what we're talking about. So we need to have that alignment. At the present, we have to wait for organic to come, and that's the biggest problem. What we're suggesting is, okay, you can exist, but give us assistance so that we can address those emergency issues on the ground. Give us the block funds. Thank you.
I'll just compliment what the minister is saying about this. At this time, just in relation to procurement of medical supplies for all level of medical services, be it aid post or health center, all the way to level 5 hospital. The procurement system is based on their standards and so on. Otherwise, people procure and we get substandard medication and so on. It's become a risk to our people rather than helping them to recover. So that's why it's managed that way this time. Our discussion now, we are trying to address this in a number of ways. First, in terms of access to funds, so that maybe provincial government we can intervene. Now, currently at this time, 80% of the budget of the provinces, they are already predetermined by the national government, because the national government gives functional grants. So most of there's not a lot of flexibility on the part of the provincial government. For example, Governor Wangehia, 80% of his budget is already predetermined by the national budget. He's got only 20%, which basically like if he's got all this GST coming in, then he has that freedom. So in this type of situation, he's got limited ability to intervene to correct the situation. But still, the governors, as you all can have, we heard from our fellow governors, they try to intervene to support the national government, like in the area of police or where there is a road, there is a national road, but there's a problem, they try to expend whatever resources they have. So we are trying to clear it down by a number of ways. One, as Minister said, if you get a block grants, which is, you can say, unconditional grants, we give it to the provinces so that they decide their own priority. Maybe this year we'll focus on health, or we'll focus on education, infrastructure. As it is now, the national government, as I said, determines 80% of the provincial budget already. It's locked in by these functional grants. We're trying to change that. So for the future, we hope that there is some block grants that can give us the freedom to intervene where there is an emergency. Secondly, as one of the resolutions suggests, that we get rid of this sanction clause in the intergovernment Relationship and Function Act. This law which says that if the provinces will raise revenue, we will get a penalty at the national level. They'll cut down our GST. So what we concern now, province, they are not raising revenue. So we are waiting for the grant to come from the treasury, and many times the money is not delivered quickly. So we are caught in this dilemma. So now the recommendation to get rid of the clause and also allow provinces to raise revenue. It gives the provinces an ability to raise our own revenue, so that if the grants doesn't come quickly or in a timely fashion from treasury, national treasury, we have some resources that we can intervene at our own level. So this is why I say that the elements are strategically going right. Everybody, we are trying to clear out all these impediments, structural impediments or administrative, legal, or political. Like another impediment too is that our treasurer at the provincial level or treasurer at the district level have all also from Department of Finance. They don't listen to us. Listen not to us, to the provincial administration. Everything they have to get clear. Secretary for Finance. So now this emergency type of situation, when we change and these officers become provincial officers, then they get a direction from the provincial administrator. So the provincial treasurer or the district treasurer can respond very quickly. Now we have to wait for the approval from the National Department of Finance. So we are clearing out all these structural impediment, legal impediment, so that provinces and also the district we can function a reliable, efficient, competent government that is there, serving our people. This is what this is about. We're getting there. Our people should have confidence. Minister is working very hard. It's in alignment with us. Everything is going right, and both of us are, governors here. We are in this bipartisan committee. We are going to make sure that we get it right now, so that in the future we don't have this problem that we have inherited from the past. I'm determined that it will be cleared out. Thank you.
Media, that ends our video conference, because we have another very important program to attend. Those people are waiting for us. Thank you for your